And so we see this is a temperature map. So what we're doing is it's a thermal map, and so essentially we're putting on our night vision goggles. So what we're detecting is hotter surfaces are white, cooler surfaces are blue, and so obviously the water is going to be cool. You can see that over here in the bottom left. But these white areas are areas that are very, very, very hot. And so when we have very much these urban environments that are very built up, we have also a lot of cars. And so essentially what happens is it creates a situation for urban areas to actually have very, very hot temperatures, much hotter and much warmer than you would find in rural areas. So what's going on there is you have black surfaces, asphalt, roads. You have buildings, metal buildings, glass, and steel. All those things do a good job of holding in heat. And so as they hold in heat, then they add and build even more to the heat to the surface. Add to that, you have higher rates of air pollution. The air pollution kind of acts as a blanket, kind of blocks and holds in a lot of that heat, especially throughout the day. Why does this matter? One of the key concerns health-wise is actually people dying of heat strokes in the summertime. And so one of the things that geographers are coming up with is we're using our goggles from the sky to find hot areas, but then we're also adding on top of that socioeconomic data. Where do we find old people? Where do we find poor people? Where do we find people that don't have the amenities that they could then fight off a heat stroke? Because come on, it's a first world problem. You shouldn't be dying of being too hot outside. In flow, we can also see that in Baltimore. Very, very dense, very much an urban environment and through this particular area, and also associated with lower income areas of Baltimore. And so this is a map that shows the density, and so you can see high density, but you can also see how those parks, so green spaces play a key role in cooling areas. So another thing that geographers are doing is they're saying, okay, you have these a lot of abandoned homes, a lot of vacant properties. Let's just maybe clear them, put in parks, put in green spaces. What's that going to do? It's going to do two things. It's going to help to cool down these very, very hot urban environments, especially in these low-income areas, but it's also going to provide recreational space. It's also going to provide space for kids to go out and run. So when you live in a very crowded area, maybe apartment complex, having green space is very crucial for reducing obesity rates, for increasing participation rates in athletics and sports. So you kind of see how this is more than just environmental issues, how they can also dovetail very nicely with socioeconomic issues as well. Same